Content warning. Following show contains smoking, some potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, and a few things that might get some of us in trouble with various corporations. But let's see how this goes. Viewer discretion is advised. See, we said something. We're good. Yay, you are so good, aren't you? Yes, I am. Anyway, should we start the music? Yeah. Let's start the music. Hey everybody, how you doing? All right, how you doing out there? What's up? What is the word? How you doing out there, people? I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and welcome to the dark side of the room, where we talk about lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff. All right, that's what we're doing. That is what we're hanging out, and we're talking about some stuff. And we have so many things out there. And when I say we, that means I am not by myself today. I have my co-host out here with me, as you know, a great entertainer, a great humanitarian, and one of my dear friends for years. Miss Mellow Cello. How you doing?
Everybody, I'm doing great.
It is definitely a thing. Yep. So we are here. And soon you will not be here. But with all of that being said, yeah, we're seriously getting a thing going down here. I'm gonna do just a little bit of adjustment because she is really washed out. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, get some of that brightness in there, and boom. All right, that should work a little bit better. Let's see how that looks. All right. That looks a little, that looks a little sweaty. But yeah. So, for those of you guys out here doing the thing, how you doing? What is the word? And of course, like I said, we're here. We're doing the thing. And with doing the thing, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But if you have any questions, comments, compliments, and all that jazz, it's real simple. All you got to do. Wow, what is going on? Okay. That's better. Let me double check here. Properties. I'm not sure if you're getting. All right. Yeah. Oh. That's better. Hopefully, y'all can get the music, cause yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, yeah, you guys can pull up. Yeah, you guys could totally pull up your email and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. That is BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com and all of that jazz. You can also hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and all that other stuff. And again, sorry about that. Hang on. All right, there we go. So yeah, Xanathades gave us another Prime subscription and all of that jazz. And also, I really appreciate it, guys, if y'all did that sharing and all of that stuff. And, the sharing, the donations, all of that jazz. And of course, you can join us on the Discord server. Ooh, look at all that. Hey, those are all the ways that you can help support the channel. And of course, ooh, no, there we go. And of course, hang on one more time here. We are gonna go pop. That's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. And of course, Mello, where can they get a hold of you?
Well, folks can get a hold of me through Facebook on my page, which is Mellow Cello 7's or you can go to Instagram and just type in Mellow Cello 007, or you can email me at mellowcello007@gmail.com and see if you want some ideas or want to talk about some things, or if you're looking to see another show, which is called Gaming Fix. I am live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Ah, it says she's muted. Hang on. Alright, let's that's weird. I just did the properties and all that stuff. What's the default? What's the default? Alright, say something right there.
Hello?
Alright. One more time.
Hello? Are you able to hear me now? Can you hear me now?
They should be able to hear you. You're coming up.
I am.
Alright. So yeah. Let me know what's going on. Alright. Quiet but sound exists. So yeah, we'll take that. Alright, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Alright. So let me double, triple check. Uh-huh. Try it now.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Should be able to do so. Let me know, Neon, and thank you for pointing that out there. Alright, so, but I did put all the stuff that they needed to know. Alright, cool, yeah, I put all the stuff they needed to know right there in the chat, so that was fun. Alright, so you were saying?
Yeah, so if you want to catch me on other shows like Gaming Fix Live, you can go ahead and go to twitch.tv/Gaming Fix Live. That's GAMINGFIXXLIVE. And we're on Wednesdays, usually. This Wednesday we won't be, though, because I have a doctor's appointment and Frank is doing something else. And but usually we're on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also just started streaming, doing a late night show. So if you want to watch just me, you can go on to my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/mellowcello007. And I'm playing some games, and usually just mobile games, because that's what I found out I can stream now. So yeah, those are some places you can find me, as well as you can find me on Facebook at mellowcello007's Hangout, or you can go to my Instagram at mellowcello007 there and find me and have a nice little chat with me. Or you can send me an email at mellowcello007@gmail.com to send off your ideas or questions or anything like that.
Awesome blossom. Alright, so I had to do a little bit of adjusting because your chat was just like, it's all weird coming from different channels and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm back after a mental health hiatus, and I really need more time, but unfortunately my mortgage is saying, yeah, you ain't got time to rest. Sorry, bro. So as I was saying, today I want to get a little bit into it. I really want to get a little bit into it, because today I want to talk about two things that are very near and dear to my heart. You know what those two things are? Those two.
No, what are they?
Those two things are shopping and coming up with ways to play games. Okay, and that's a really big thing for me, because as you guys know, well, I grew up a poor black child in the middle of the ghetto, and there's a whole lot of folks out there that are just like me, and how can I put this? We put this stuff out here and we're like, yeah, let's play some games, let's do some things, and a lot of folks are like, you know what, man? I want to do this thing, but I don't have access to the materials, you know? And one of the things that I have always hated, okay? And I mean this, I have always hated this idea of being gate kept because you're too poor. I never liked it. I was never able to get down with it. I mean, um, there have
You
been
know, I
two.
don't think I know anyone solar who's adamantly likes being X'd out of games or having barriers to entry to any game. So, um, yeah, I agree with you that it's kind of hard for someone to enter a game like Warhammer 40K without, you know, being out of coin. So I understand how you feel a little bit there too.
Well, ain't you sassy?
Oh,
Like,
well.
oh no, I don't think I know. Yeah, yeah, no, I know lots of people who just love being X out of game. Don't get me wrong, I like that. Sassy looks good on you.
No.
You know that looks good on you. You keep that
That's not what I
faff,
said.
huh?
I
Uh,
said I understand what it's like being X'd out of games where you basically don't have access to them because it's you have these barriers to entry, such as fees or prices for the game itself, let alone miniatures and terrain.
okay, yeah. So, yeah, real talk though, there's a lot of stuff that's out there. So, one of the things that you guys notice is, yeah, when I paint miniatures and stuff on here, I always talk about the games that I'm playing. All right, and I'm gonna instruct you guys on how I do things. All right, because I think you guys will be able to benefit from the way that I do stuff because I have a little bit of money, but I still think like a poor man who wants to play all this stuff and do these things. Okay? Because no matter what you do out there, no matter what you like doing or what you want to do out there, there are different ways to get done the stuff that you want to get done, and that is pretty awesome. Um, but how we gonna do this, right? How we gonna do this? Well, the first thing that we put out there, very first thing that we put out there is a very, very simple concept, okay? And that is to understand what you want to play and why you want to play it. Like, what games are you really trying to get into? You know, um, let me see if I can check something here real quick. Now I like miniatures games. I do. I have fun with them. I do all of that jazz. Um, and what a lot of people, no, not that one. That is not the one I wanted. No, that is just, that's weird. Um, One of the things that I'm into are playing tabletop miniatures games. And why? Well, it reminds me of playing with toys. Okay. That is one of the things that it does. All right. I like playing with toys. When I was a kid, we couldn't afford many toys. I'm like, "Ooh, mom, look, there's a new G.I. Joe out in the store. Can I get the G.I. Joe?" And she'd be like, "You got G.I. Joe money?" And I'm like, "No, I don't got you yet." Well, and she's like, "Well, when you grown, you can buy as many G.I. Joes as you want. But while you living in my house, y'all know how this goes, especially if you guys are melanated like me. Y'all know what that's
Oh yeah.
like.
Mm,
you know.
big time. Big time.
Yeah. So instead of dealing with all that, um, mm, I, now I have a 3D print farm. It's a good farm, but I've seen every time I go online and look at the other people, they're like, "Look at all the money we can pour into stuff. Look at my legion of 3D printers." Mwahahaha. And I'm like, "All right, yeah, no, that's nice. I can deal with that. I can deal. I've got mine. I've got mine." And a lot of the 3D printing stuff is a lot like owning a luxury car, which is, yeah, I picked up a Mercedes for $1,500. Let it break down. A lot of people ask, like seriously, a lot of people are like, "Dude, why don't you get like a Harley?" When they see my motorcycle, and I'm like, "Because I can upkeep a Honda." That's why I don't get a Harley. Um, but let's see here. Yeah, they're gonna print themselves a personality. Okay, today is just sass, ain't it? Just so
Right?
much
Just throwing
sass.
shade.
I'm serious, man. I'm like, dude, what's up with all this shade? This is just yeah, so much shade. All right, there we go. Now I want to go. Huh. Yeah, about there. Yeah, I mean, seriously, everything is just so sassy today. Y'all are sassy. I'm kind of digging it. I actually am kind of digging it. Um, but yeah, so but people ask me a lot, like, where do you get all these files? Because I show up to a game store with like a full army going, oh wait, you want to play 4,000 points? All right, we'll do that next week. Quite possibly. I'll see what I can do. And then I show up with like, whoa, look at all the other stuff. And they're like, geez, how do you keep doing this? And I'm like, because I'm a monster. That's why. You know, but I'm really big, as you guys have probably come to realize, on proxies. Okay. I love proxies. And the reason that I love proxies,
Is it because they're cheap?
partly because they're cheap, and other partly because I have zero brand loyalties. Okay. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't have brand loyalties to that popular kid on the block, because they became popular by people following them. First, they started off as the only game in town, and then they became like the entire industry. And I'm not just talking about Games Workshop, okay? I'm talking about Games Workshop or Hasbro, which used to be TSR. Pretty much all the popular ones. When they command the market, they're like, "Hey, don't forget, you're here forever." And I'm like, "No, you ain't the boss of me. Yeah, I
Like
do.
getting jumped into a gang or something, man.
Yes,
You're in
seriously.
for life.
Seriously. It really comes down to like, yeah. Um,
Except with Games Workshops, it's like, okay, instead of jumping you in, we're just gonna take your money and never just give you anything worthwhile.
yeah, seriously. All right, seriously. That is the shit that I look at and I'm just like, dude, no. Now I do have a tendency of preferring genres, okay? And I'm kind of in the 40K realm because I like science fiction. But there are other games out there like Traveler and 40 Parsecs from Home and Space Weirdos and Stargrave, all that other stuff. Hey, Gregos. Um, so when I download stuff, print, I'm like, yeah, no, seriously. I want models that I can use for multiple games. Okay, multiple games. But when you go out there and you look at stuff, right? Um, it's real easy. And I mean really easy. Um, to end up with um with stuff that looks like it was made for Warhammer 40K. I mean that really is the thing. Um yeah, so I'm just kind of sitting up going, all right, well, if I'm going to deal with something like that, I'm going to deal with something like that. Now, a lot of you guys know the Pokebot, right? And we're going to get back to painting the Pokebot. As soon as I find a hole puncher, you guys will understand. But yeah, it really is one of those things. But when I go out shopping for minis, right? I recently went to a brick and mortar game store. And this brick and mortar game store is called Lost Planet down in Torrance. And Torrance, California, it's a suburb of LA. It's a thing. And this is the only brick and mortar store that I've seen so far that carries Carnivale from TT Combat. And so they have a really good selection. And since it's a smaller tabletop game, I like to, give my piddly little penance to help support them, but they also have all of the army painter stuff. Hooray, army painter, because I will not pay for Games Workshop paints. I won't pay $14. Where is the thing? I've got one of the paint pots around here. So, there we go. I don't want to pay $14 for this. Okay, I don't. I'll pay $5 for this. 5? 14. 5, 14. Huh?
You see the
Um,
price comparison here, folks. Yeah, you can do some deduction here.
yeah, exactly. Um, so, um, but I like keeping the friendly local game stores open, so I shop for myself. But when it comes to the games that I love playing, things like Stargrave, Space Weirdos, everything from One Page Rules, um, you know, what do I do? Well, when it comes to that, um, where do I get the models? Well, there are loads of independent creators out there. And I mean loads of independent creators. Now, most of the independent creators make stuff that how can I put this? They make stuff that are essentially proxies for Warhammer 40Ks. Sorry, not 14, guys, 7, but still it feels like 14. Um so one of the companies that I've discovered on all of my shoppings have been Station Forge. Oh, wait a second. Now these guys, you can find them on Cults 3D, and they have a lot of inspired by but legally distinct from designs. This is the company that made the Pokebot. Matter of fact, there he is right there. Hey, look at that. Now the file itself costed me about $15. But again, I can make as many as I want or as many loadouts as I want as long as I've got the resin. Okay, so for $75, roughly, because I pay $50 for resin, but for $75, i.e., the $50 for resin and the $15 file, I can make two, two of these robots, and these robots are awesome. Or I can make one with all the weapons loadouts. And another thing, you know, no, they don't make minis that infringe on the intellectual property because this is a Titan. Does this thing look like an Imperial Knight? No. Um,
No.
so yeah, it's got some other stuff, and they do have faction proxies and things like that, but they passed that 25% marker, and fortunately, the guys at Games Workshop can't trademark or copyright a tank or a plane. Yeah, these are the little guys. These are called scavenger bracers, which are very close to the. Oh, these are the armiger proxies or counts as. But these things are like maybe 5 inches tall, and they're good Guardian Sentry robots and stuff like that. And again, for that same $70, the 15 for the file and the $50 for the bottle of resin, I've actually clocked it. I can make about 4 of these. And as you guys know, the armigers at Games Workshop, they tend to cost a lot more. But I can use them for other games like 5 Parsecs from Home or Space Weirdos or Stargrave or Espergenesis when I'm using when I'm using miniatures to run that tabletop miniatures game. Now, hang on. Apex Legions. Now, the models that I was painting yesterday. Yeah, yeah, oh, wrong one. Apex. No, that's all right. Design. Nope. Oh no, it's Apex Design, is it? No, it's not them. It's Dark Age Design. But when you're looking for minis, when you are actually looking for minis and stuff, it's really wise to look at independent creators and see the stuff that's out there because they're awesome. Yeah. I get all that. So here is Apex Tabletop. Right now, these guys are the ones that created the files. Come on, load. These are the guys that created the files of the minis that I was painting on. And this is a one-man operation, so much like me, I am definitely supporting this guy. And here's one of his truck designs. You know, and the design goes for 12 pound 50. I don't know what that means in LA money, but let's call it 15 bucks, and I can make a transport truck that is inspired by but different from the other stuff, and yeah, um again, this guy is awesome, and I believe he has a printing service as well. So when it comes to shopping, there are certain things you have to think about. Okay. The major things you got to think about, and I mean this, the serious major thing is what are you buying them for, and how much bang for your buck can you get out of them? Now, if you really just like playing games like I do, the Dollar Tree and 99-cent only store are gold mines. Oh my God, those places are great. Now, when I was growing up, I grew up in the hood. Down here in the hood, there is one habit that I just can't stand. What that is, Heather?
Being othered within
Um,
your own community.
there is that. Okay, there is a really big thing, but it's the reason that I get othered. Now, I've been building my own toys and making stuff since I was a kid. And since children are sociopaths, don't at me if you're a parent, um, it was always like, oh, you had to make your own toy. You couldn't afford no Optimus Prime. Your family's poor. Your family's poor. And I'm like, dude, you live two doors down from my house. If your family had any money, you'd be living in a better neighborhood. I mean, seriously. Um, but it did instill this thing in my brain that said what I make will never be as good at what comes from a store. And we can talk about the effects of late stage capitalism at our meeting tonight down by the docks, Pier 7. But we're not going to get into that. Okay? But ice cream dancing will only lead to ice cream ruin. Because I kiss it up to God. Up to God. Mwah. Yeah, that's what we got. Mwah, yeah, God clean my ice cream. But yeah, and I mean, seriously, it really is one of those things. But it's like when it comes to plan, and this is something that I've noticed, especially where I come from. Imagination seems to have a monetary value, but it doesn't. Okay. I make a lot of scenery and a lot of terrain. And some people, when I was a kid, were like, man, that's just a bunch of stuff from a construction site. You can't afford no toys. But now as an adult, people are like, wait, you made that? What? I'm like, and you can too, you know? So really, it's just a matter of trusting yourself and recognizing why you make stuff and what you want to do with it. Okay. Now, again, I've got a legion of 3D printers, so I can print stuff that looks like it was store bought. And there's still that small contingency of gamers out there that are like, oh, was this just 3D printed? I'm like, stop trying to make yourself feel better for overpaying for toys. Okay? They're my toys. I do what I want. You're laughing,
Right.
but, but we've
Oh
both
no, I'm
seen it.
laughing because it's true. It's so true. Like, you'll run into 40K players who will be like, "Oh, I'll only buy miniatures from someone else if they're not painted." And then, they'll run into people who have their miniatures that are painted that are on sale, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's painted. I'm gonna have to ask that you charge less for this." So and then there are the ones who are like you mentioned, who are like, "Oh yeah, so you 3D printed this? Oh, this is not Games Workshop worthy." So yeah, I
And I'm
get what
just
you
sitting
mean.
up going, okay, buddy, whatever helps you sleep at night, Because in the meantime, while they're going, well, it is not up to my standard as an upper middle class person who is absolutely entitled to everything, I'm busy going, pew, 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 roll.
Hmm. While they're
You know,
still painting at least one or two of their miniature army of 5 or 6 or 7.
you know,
You're
that
playing your
they
game.
paid as much as one would pay to go out to a bar and have two drinks, you know. So, and here's the thing though, if it makes them happy, if it truly makes them happy, I'm with it. But as a middle-aged man, especially one who just had a birthday, I can see with my old man eyes if someone is happy in their snobbery or if they're trying to tear down or blow out my candle to make theirs shine brighter. And I'm like, dude, it's okay to have buyer's remorse, but find happy in what you're doing, you know? So yeah, I mean it's a real big thing. Um and so yeah. I'm not really one for giving discounts to people when I sell stuff one on one. Primarily because I don't like to overcharge. Hey, Cyber Drake. Um so, it really is a thing of like, dude, I worked really hard on this, or if you want to take it and strip it, that's your call, but I'm not going to give you a discount for you to do a little more work. Or you don't. I think the price is fair, especially since I essentially pay myself $7 an hour to do something, which is half of minimum wage in California.
That's
Because,
illegal.
huh?
I said it's illegal to pay yourself less than minimum wage.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll file a grievance with the union or anything like that. That's. I told you, my boss is a jerk. He really is. Let's
Oh
see.
my god.
So,
uh
so yeah. I mean, really, that's a really thing. So, yeah, because it really is a thing. I'm like, great, get in here, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. So yeah, it's if you guys have ever watched Fight Club, that's what most of my shareholders meetings are like. Um, but anyway, so when you're looking to buy miniatures, don't get caught up in brand loyalty. All of this stuff is a matter of imagination. This is why I've always been against WYSIWYG, you know? Um, Now, when I was growing up, like I said, we were stuck with such brand loyalty that we couldn't imagine other things. I mean, it hit me, it hit me hard, really, really, really hard. Um, when video games became like the main thing, and I'm like, holy crap, there are stories in this. And people are like, yeah, there are stories in video games, what did you think? And I'm like, no, I just finished doing the thing. I did the task, it said put the blocks here, I put the blocks there. It said go right, just keep going right. There's something in your way, jump over it, jump on it, blah blah blah, but keep going right. Um so I know there's been stories in video games since MS-DOS, dude. I was there. It's just a matter of I didn't recognize what the stories were. It was always take care of the thing that's in front of me, get past this level, and not think of the overall thing. Find the princess, save the girl. That was it. Um, you know, I
Man, have
remember
games come
huh?
so far. I was just saying it's games have come so far from what they used to be back in the day when they first started out. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're really entertainment now, but I think the first time I ever saw a game ending was Street Fighter 2, and it was Ryu walking down the street, and I'm like, wait, there was a story to this? We were fighting for a reason? I was just trying to beat the next guy. I mean, that's really what it was. Um, so yeah. But the imagination just got shifted, you know? And growing up where I did, with consumer culture and not having a whole bunch of money, using my imagination was frowned upon because imagination was determined by commercials. And this is back in the time of Saturday morning cartoons, where the action figure commercial would come on, and it's like, buy this play set this playset you can play in Castle Grayskull, you know. Um, so yeah. Mm. But now, it's like now it's all about imagining. I've freed myself from those shackles, which is a segue into today's second subject, which is how do you write a narrative, for your playtime? Okay, because when we were kids, we'd just be like, "I'm in a spaceship," ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, and then your friends would be, yes, they were all, no, not half the shows, Xanathades, all the shows were long form commercials because if you go on the internet and look at some of the old commercials, I think maybe three of them, just three, had really deep written out stories. Those three being Exo Squad, um, Battletech. That's about it. Other than that, the stories were shallow, but they were commercials for next season's toys. That includes Thundercats and Transformers and G.I. Joe. Come at me, I will die on this. Um,
What about My Little Pony?
huh?
What about My Little Pony?
My Little Pony didn't actually start to be yeah, My Little Pony really didn't start to be My Little Pony, as in like friendship is magic and all that jazz, until there we go. Um until the reboot of the show. Okay.
Right.
Before they didn't have like deep meanings. I mean, they had to have a moral, and each moral
Mm-hmm.
was dedicated to the show because that was the law, but they didn't have like deep storylines and stuff like that. It was just, isn't
Mm.
this pony cute? Couldn't she do all that
Right.
stuff? Now here's a commercial for the doll and the hair that you can brush. My little pony, my little pony. I mean, serious. Yeah,
Honestly, I think the '80s My Little Pony ponies were better looking, in my opinion. The reboot ponies, I can't get down with them.
uh, yeah, yeah, so that was kind of a thing. But, so this part of the show, hang on. So let's talk about narrative. Narrative is really, really, really big. All right. And today I put up something. Oh man, I didn't change the thing. I'm so terrible. I'm like, I thought I changed the title of today's episode. Let me do that real quick. Because, yeah. Ah, very, I've been a little crazy as of late. But yeah, shopping and creating narratives. And again, copy. I did all that stuff with the announcements that were going out. Boom, there we go. Now it's successfully updated. Look at the bottom of the screen because we're going to talk about Bandersnatch. um, Not just one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, but the reason that it's one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror. Now, I know a lot of people who want to be GMs, a lot of people that want to do games, and just a little bit of rant about Games Workshop real quick, because one of my closest friends, when my ride or dies, talks to me and tells me, he doesn't really like match play. He's a narrative player, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't speak your funny moon language. And match play is essentially a one-on-one game, and narrative play is a game where you're playing out a storyline where the points are uneven. So it's like, can you survive 4 rounds against the endless horde? Or can your strike team of this many people go into this place and all that stuff? I'm like, okay, all right. Now that I know what that is, I can deal with that. And that's one of the reasons I like playing with minis games. And this is one of the things that we can do in minis games and RPGs and just your creative writing, that you can do by yourself or with other people. So grab a pencil, grab a piece of paper. Are you excited for this one, Heather?
Oh yeah, I really am, especially since it's based on Bandersnatch, one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror as well.
Yeah. So, the premise of Bandersnatch, um, um, yeah, the premise of Bandersnatch, that episode of Black Mirrors, was essentially a choose your own adventure book, and you will find 100 videos on the YouTubes about just that. All right, about like seriously, about oh, hey, what's going on? Not in the body. Hey. Let's see. Yay. Yep. Hey. Let's see. We've got Noon and Nobody over on YouTube saying, "Hey, what's up? Great pink hands." And yeah, pink horse with blue hair up until I left for college from My Little Pony. And they were. They really were. Um yeah, exactly. Like, now video games are really good at this because, somebody else had done it for you and all you had to do was buy it. So that was the thing. Should you disconnect if you haven't seen it yet? No, 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 no. The premise of Bandersnatch was you're gonna watch this story, and every once in a while on Netflix, you would get a prompt as to what decision the main character of the story was going to do. And based on that, you were going to get different endings and different storylines. So at one particular moment, and this is not a heavy spoiler, okay? So just relax. It really was what kind of cereal would you like? And you would get to choose, but that would determine what next part of the story went. And the game Bandersnatch that was in the game was based on decision gates. All right. And this is a really big thing about narrative play. And this is how I write narrative play whenever I'm running a campaign. So take notes, okay? Essentially, you can have the story of, well, essentially you start with an overall story. What are you gonna do? Is your overall story well, again, GW is kind of doing that right now, so let's use them as an example with their season model. In the game Kill Team, they're doing the Arcs of Omens. And the overall story arc, because the last part of it is going to come out soon, is there is a giant spaceship that's made of 100 other big spaceships. And it just came out of the warp where all of the really, really evil guys live. And now your players or your little teams are fighting to see who controls it, can it be controlled by you, and what's in it. And every single book and stuff says, okay, with this last chapter, blah blah blah, with this last chapter, blah blah blah. Now, how does this translate into Choose Your Own Adventure or Bandersnatch? It almost sounds like I'm trying to make a thing. But anyway, what you've got going, is you warplings are just misunderstood. No, you're not. They all of them know exactly what you are. You are a force that is out to destroy what is there to make something new. All right, that is all that's there. I will go no further than that because this is not a Games Workshop stream. All right, this is a stream about narrative today. So, what do we got? Well, we have like an overall thing that we are trying to do. All right. So
the overall arching storyline.
Yes, an overarching story. Now, when it comes, and this is one of the things I do for solo play or my game sessions, I have an overall thing I'd like to get done. Find the treasure. That's what we're doing. All right. The treasure is over here. And this is something that I learned from Read Your Own Adventure books, but more to the point, I learned it from being in games, all right? Lots and lots of role-playing games, which is the DM may have an idea of what they want to do, but the path to get there, is not determined because every game session, you might want to do something, but then your players show up. And this is something that I learned from Big Trouble in Little China, the John Carpenter movie. I told you guys I'm middle-aged, which is that movie was a horror movie based on Chinese mythology, and then the cast showed up and it turned into an action adventure comedy. So that's just one of the things that happened. Um, so what we have when it comes to the decision gates, we will call them the splits. And the most basic splits, the most basic in Bandersnatch, is something pops up, and there will be a time to make a decision. Will they go left? Will they go right? If they go left, this will happen. If they go right, that will happen. And as a writer, a storyteller, a GM, a narrator, or something like that, um, those two paths have got to have at least an outline. Okay. Now, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the writers of South Park, I don't like them as people, but I can't deny that their work is solid. Um, put that out there, put that very idea out there, and summed it up as but and therefore. And I've talked about this on the show hundreds of times. Okay, hundreds of times. I've talked about it on the show. The but and therefore. Every time you can do something, you have to make the decision, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk to the store. However, in stories, in narratives, you might want to do something. But in order to make a narrative interesting, there's got to be a place where the decision gets derailed by circumstance. I want to go to the store, but I have to clean my room. Therefore, I will clean my room. And the new path is taken. Now I want to clean my room and I'm cleaning my room, but I do not have a broom. Therefore, I must find a way to clean the I must find a way to clean the floor without a broom, and that is where these decision gates happen. So it's like to be or not to be. Where do you choose to go? Do you go down this path? Do you go down that path? To let you guys know some of the things that I've been doing in my mental health break is cleaning up my studio and resetting up a lot of my cameras so that I can do battle reports. Okay. But battle reports are a lot of work and a lot of editing. So I'm like, how can I do live battle reports that are good quality without having to do 60 or 70 hours of editing? Because I hate editing. I truly do. I do not like it. It is not fun for me. Do not like it, Sam. I am. Okay. It is like green eggs and ham. So how can I do this and still have fun with what I'm trying to accomplish is the question. Oh, curses. I left my coffee creamer in the other side hour, so I'm going to go get that. So, essentially, I'm always coming up with why are my characters going to fight the thing that they're going to fight, And a lot of things are like that. Now, you can get a lot of games out there with a preset campaign. I should check out Matt Yee. He does live battle reports on his stream. Thank you, Xanathades. I think I will, because I want to measure up to our friends at Play on Tabletop and our friends at Tabletop Tactics, but I don't have their budget or their crew. So what can a single man do alone? And I think I'm going to do something pretty good. But now I need narratives, like why are these people showing up and fighting? Are they securing a thing? Are they coming across a tomb world? What are they going to do? I don't know. But I have to have in mind if I'm going to play with a specific army, let's say I'm going to take my new space soldiers, my blue and gold guys that I've been painting up yesterday. Okay, they landed on a place. What do they find? Why did they land on that place? Did they crash land? Did they do that? Now, certain games like 5 Parsecs from Home or Stargrave or Space Weirdos, they come with these pre-made adventures, You crash land on a planet. What's there? You have to stay alive while your rescue gets picked up, or anything like that. But then the next question is, well, once that happens, where are they off to next? Do they just go home? One of my favorite YouTubers, Althenians Crafts and Play. He is amazing at this. He names all of his figures, and they have recurring they recur in different battle reports, and he's just fun. And in truth, he's my real inspiration for wanting to do battle reports again, because he does a lot of solo play, and it's great. Play on our other big groups is that you're doing them live on stream. That's one of the differences, but I'm really big on quality because I wasted a bunch of money on film school and did a lot of production, so I'm like, this doesn't live up to my standards. But what do you think about creating narratives? And when you've done your own narratives, Heather, what are some of the things that you've done?
Well, I'm not one to be a GM most of the time. I particularly like playing versus being a GM of a world. But when I did run a game once or twice, my big thing was creating the storyline really well, to the point where I'm creating suspense. I'm creating some type of effect within the players where they feel like they need to act. And of course, knowing the story, what the lore of the story that I'm trying to produce out there. I think that without knowing those things, you can't really put a narrative together. And it's a little more challenging, I should say.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at this. I actually found the thing I was looking for. Cyberdrake brings up Traveler has been a giant shortcut. It's impossible to actually need prep once you know the system. Patron, job, creature generation tools. Yeah. And a stable of NPCs. That never hurts. That never hurts, And as a GM and an old man, I'm going to say I'm very, very happy about getting the resources to do this, because this is the 21st century and the internet is real. Okay. And what do I mean by that? It means that no matter what gaming system that you're looking at, you can do a search and find an archive of pre-made NPCs for your role-playing games. For Stargrave, I've actually been looking at pre-made battle groups, pre-made war bands, and I did the same for Frostgrave, because I'm kind of a really big fan of Joseph McCullough. He's the writer of Stargrave and all that stuff for Osprey Games. And the real fact of the matter is having these storylines up, always really cool. Now, a lot of folks, and this is the part where I talk about debunking. Okay, I love debunking. You ready for some debunking, Heather?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready for some debunking? All right.
Yeah.
Biggest thing that I want to debunk, the thing that makes me go, yeah, well, guess what? You're wrong, is a lot of folks, either cynical or younger, have the idea that when you create a narrative, it needs to be original.
Oh no, you don't have to reinvent the wheel in order to get off a good narrative. Are you insane? That's just harder. That just makes it harder for you as a GM.
Yeah, exact. Or, just as a player, again, I've been doing a lot of solo play with my minis because I live too far away from my friends to walk, and my friends that drive don't want to come to my house. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to play alone. And, so when I'm playing these narrative things, am I playing Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3, Episode 9? Maybe. Am Am I playing that one sci-fi movie from the 1960s that I saw that none of my friends have? Maybe, you know. However, um, the important thing to remember is that even if the people reading or the players know where you got the inspiration from, there is no guarantee that you are going to plagiarize. You know, um, one of the things I really dig, and I do mean this, I really dig um, going through some of my favorite movie collections. And my hobby, when I'm not actually making a mess by painting or creating miniatures, is watching reaction videos. And a lot of the reaction videos that I watch are a bunch of people in the 20s in their 20s watching movies that I went to the theaters to see. And I'm like, how can they not have seen The Princess Bride? Oh wait. Oh wait. They were born after the stock market crash of 2008. Or, oh, they were born after 9/11. Okay, yeah, I can see why they wouldn't know The Princess Bride, or In the Mouth of Madness, or The Prince of Darkness, or, oh, yeah, no, they were born after Fight Club. Wow. Okay, yeah, we can do this stuff. And let's see, Cyber Drake Luca says original doesn't mean not reusing component parts. The combination can be original. Yeah, exactly. If you put a bunch of unfamiliar things together in the right way, sometimes you can create something new. That is a wonderful way to say it, you know? Um, I know a lot of people who try and be snobbish, like, well, you just took that from the books that we all know. I'm like, yeah, but I played it out to make it the ending that I wanted instead of the one the author gave me.
You know,
Yep.
when I was playing games with my tabletop groups, the GM of the group would normally encourage his players to watch certain movies, or suggest which movie to see in order to get something as silly as having a Cockney accent or something like that. And it was there for us to do so that we would have inspiration as player characters, and also so that the GM had some kind of background to work with.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there. And you know, I mean it's a really big thing. Most of the time. Ooh, whoa, hang on. Yeah, watching The Empire Strikes Back, and she literally dropped the spoon and said, "No." Oh, at the no. I am your father. What? Oh my god. What? Yeah, spoilers from a movie that's older than the relationship that most people have with their parents. Actually, older than most people's the relationships that most people's parents have with each other. Being middle aged is weird. Yeah, you didn't tell me that, Xanathase. Um, so yeah, but the Bandersnatch method, the decision gates, you know, um, when you are doing this, there's obvious decision gates to go, i.e., this game, I have this plot set out. If they succeed or if they finish up the plot that I wrote, this is the one I have outlined for next. If they don't, this is the outline I have for next. It really is. Yeah, I know, Xanathase. It is older than you are, and yeah, so am I. Um, but yeah, so when all of that stuff came out, it was like, um, when you plan a gaming session, there's always the idea that your players are gonna do what your players gonna do. You guys have seen me go off about Epic Encounters, which is a product from Steamforge Game, a great product, by the way. 35 to $50 depending on where you buy it for an entire night campaign with miniatures and maps and everything you need to play except dice and other people. Yeah, that's a good purchase.
I agree with that.
You know.
We need more games like that out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, these guys are great. And I tried running it. And as soon as one of the players saw that the orcs were riding polar bears, they're like, I want one of those bears. So, so okay, yeah, yeah. That turned out to be the rest of the session, because they wanted one of them bears. So, real talk. The key is going, okay, if this happens, what then? And if it looks like things are going to be uneventful, that's when you pull out the but and therefore. But the number one thing I can tell you guys about writing your own narratives, and this is the quicksand that I step in more than almost any of you, and that is don't overcomplicate things. Don't overthink it. I mean, seriously, my brain goes at 1,000 miles per hour. That's not a brag, it's a complaint. Okay. Um, because there's so many other things that come up, and part of that is because I've dealt with so many cynical people. It's the a train leaves Boston at 75 miles per hour, another train leaves Salem at 61 miles per hour on the same track. And then my brain goes, well, what are they carrying? Why are they on the same track? What are they going in different things? What's up with the conductor? And I'm like, stop it. Sometimes you just got to be like, they landed on the planet. Now what? Well, where would they go? Shut up. They landed on the planet. I mean, it's a thing. But I have dealt with a lot of cynical people that do what the Celestine prophecy calls control dramas by asking 1,000 questions and derailing everything. So I try not to I try not to do that to myself when I'm coming up with narratives. Um Now, when we come up with narratives for games, all we're doing is coming up with a story. You know, I talk to a lot of people, especially in the Warhammer community, and they all have stories for their armies that no one will hear. It's like, oh no, I'm serious. It's really interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, really, really interesting. They're like, well, I chose this color palette because my chapter of Space Marines are these, and these. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Um, you know, and they have that set up just in case that guy comes around. And I'm like, okay, well, hey, do your thing. Um, Actually, that's me being cynical. But a lot of folks, a lot of folks can always come up with a story. Um, Now, real talk, most adventure stories come down to find the thing or person, escape the bad guys, or figure out a way to get home. Those are the three main story arcs of anything. Um, that really is it. That really is it. Super Mario, get the girl. Snake, go get the thing. Or sorry, Metal Gear Solid, go get the thing. Oh yeah, and save the world. Save the world. Yeah, save the world. Um, you know, um, and Lord of the Rings is one of the reasons that it's so special because it's not go get the thing. It's you got the thing. Get rid of it and save the world. So, um, also get depressed about nuclear arms. Stop it, Neon. Jeez. Um, so yeah. Um, hey, Hello Kitty Space Marines. If I had the skill, um, personally, I'm also big on Zentai and Power Rangers and stuff like that. So yeah, I am gonna have like a kill team or Stargrave group that are the primary colors. Because they're my toys. I do what I want. I do what I want. Um, so yeah, that's a real thing. Now, what are some of your thoughts on a lot of this, Heather?
Well, I think that we all play games for fun, but we rarely think about why there's a narrative and how the narrative works with the story. And I think that the three things that you mentioned with the overarching storylines there really do drive a story. Without it, there's really basically nothing to do. So it's really important to kind of like remind the players if they get off track a little bit Hey, there's this overarching storyline. You may have done this side quest, but don't forget the storyline.
That is a very good point. And I'm glad that you brought up side quests because side quests are a really, really, really good example of the branching or the Bandersnatch. Okay, the branching story arcs. Because sometimes the side quests aren't necessary, but they'll give you components to make the overall story easier. Okay, and that is really a thing. Now again, Bandersnatch is 2. Why? Because 2 is decent. It's solid. There's a lot of things that you can do. Now, real talk. This is where we get into
Wait,
the
there's
real.
a Bandersnatch 2?
Huh? No.
There's a
There's not a
Bandersnatch 2?
sequel to Bandersnatch. No, I
Oh.
mean, but the Bandersnatch decision gates is only 2. Are you going to go left or right? It gets really ambitious when you start going more paths. You know,
Getting those forks in the road.
oh yeah, forks in the roads, crossroads. What branch on the decision tree that you do. But when it comes down to these things, they are all possible. But again, as I said, my brain goes 1,000 miles per hour. So I start thinking, well, what if there's 5 paths? And I'm like, no. Two-Face has a coin. Heads, tails, 2 things. That's all. 2 things. Because it can get a little overcomplicated. And this is why I'm saying, I'm really saying, don't overcomplicate things. All right. You only need 2 different paths. What happens if your people win? What happens if they don't? I know with my narrative games for Grimdark Future Firefight, which is Kill Team Light, or Stargrave, which is a skirmish level game, or even Carnivale, which is all that, but it's set in Venice. It's what are they going to do? What happens if they get wiped? Do they get captured and sent into prison? Cool, the prison break game. Yeah, that'll be a good thing to do. That kind of thing. So yeah, it really is a matter of thinking about what game you're going to play and what happens with pass or fail. If you want to get ambitious, then add in that C+. What if they barely pass? Like, do they ace it? Do they pass it? Or do they fail it? And have other stuff in there. And I'm thinking like this all the time when I'm running a campaign, specifically because everything I plan for my players don't do. I'm like, yeah, let's do some combat. Okay, diplomacy. All right, what are we gonna do now?
That is a common theme throughout tabletop games, no matter what game it is. The players will always decide to do something other than what the storyline is, or other than the side quest, and getting your players back onto the track, like steering them like little herds of sheep. Is like, okay, let's go here. No, go here. Oh man, they wanted to do that other thing then. Okay, all right, I got to make something up.
Yeah, it's a real thing, and I try not to steer my players back. I just kind of let them do what they're going to do. However, I'm a big fan of the consequences. So, yeah, a really big fan of consequences. Like, nah, man, y'all missed that window. What, y'all missed the boat that's going to the next place. So now y'all got to figure out how you're going to get to the next place to accomplish the mission that you were set out for. Sorry. That's...
At least you're not blue bolting folks. I'm sure you've done it, though. Blue bolting.
I have no idea what that is.
It's when you get a nice little arc of electricity through your player character because you did something heinous or you did something egregious to the GM's taste.
Oh, no. I don't do that at all. I'm not that guy. When I'm running a game, the big thing that determines what decision gate is going to go down, or what I like to call natural consequences. Okay. Example, if I have a player that has a magical item and they use that magical item a lot in a city setting, they're going to get robbed. Eventually they're going to get robbed because people are going to be like, hey, they got a Ring of the Ram. I could use a Ring of the Ram. Yeah. With the Ring of the Ram, we could totally just knock the wall out of the bank and we can take all the gold. Yeah. Let's go steal that Ring of the Ram. Or you know, or if they go around being murder hobos, they're gonna get to a town. They're like, "No, we heard of y'all, man. Y'all crazy. That kind of thing. That
Unintended consequences of actions taken.
exactly. I mean, that whole yeah. Look, we're flashing the wad. Look at us overpay the bartender and leave big old tips and start throwing away money. And it's like, oh my God, you're ruining the economy of this town. You are literally causing inflation, but have fun with that.
Wow.
You know, and but that's just one of the things that I do, and I don't tell my players that that is what I'm going to do specifically. But if they end up going back to those places, there's going to be reputation. There's reputation or not. Sometimes there's not reputation. And that helps with the role play experience. It helps with that's I'll find country waiting to get immediately robbed. um yeah, exactly. And exactly, Cyber Drake. Every price is higher now that you're blamed for the fact that no one can eat. Thanks, adventurers. You know.
Doing those types of things is like putting a big sign of "kick me" on your own back. Please kick me. I need it.
Well, the thing is, I've traveled overseas, and when you're overseas, in a lot of places, as soon as they know you're American, things go different, and not always better. And
things go sideways quick.
Well, they can. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Most of the time, it's just more expensive. Like, oh wait, you're American. Yeah, that's
Cha-ching.
30 lira, that kind of thing. So
you practically see the dollar sign in their eyes.
Yeah, did adventurers kill the fast casual restaurant? Yeah, I mean, seriously, that is a really big thing. And so yeah, when you're creating narratives, there's a lot of that. Like but thinking up consequences is literally an example of using the Bandersnatch. Do people like what they did? Do they not? Who does like what they did? Sometimes you can have like bunches of murder hobos that are going around, and there might be somebody that really digs them that are not very well liked in town, or somebody on the city council that understands them. And are they being wound up like a tin soldier and unleashed on something else? Who knows? Wow. Wow. You know what? I'm not going to get mad about that, Neon. That is a really good one. What did you pay my daughter for? Nobody would pay that much for flowers. What did you do? That kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, all of these things are possibilities. Now, when you're solo gaming, like I do a lot, I always like to have a why are we fighting? Why are we fighting? Sometimes it's good just to be like, hey, let's pull out our figures and go murder, kill. But other times it's like there's always more investment when there's a narrative, always. You want to see how it goes. If you don't believe me, ask the comic book or soap opera industry, because it's like, oh, what happens next? What happens next? What happens next? Tune in next week. Same
Constant
bat time.
Cliffhanger.
Huh?
Constant cliffhangers.
If not constant cliffhangers, just a little bit more. Like, why do I want to come back to do this? Why do I want to keep playing this game?
Because John left Mary and now he's sleeping with Rogina, her friend.
This is the brave, the bold, the beautiful, the magic casting,
the young
the sci-fi.
and the restless.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I mean, these story arcs, it's interesting. I use, and this is really a big piece of the formula when it comes to prestige television, which I love has taken a much bigger forefront in entertainment. Hey, I grew up with sitcoms. Oh, what's the wacky hijinks this week? Hey, here's your lesson, and everything's been wrapped up in 22 minutes. Tune in next week. No. No.
Real life never happens like that.
you
I
know.
had to stop watching certain shows because it kept leading me down rabbit holes that were like, "Oh yeah, I could have the perfect family and this and that." No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, seriously speaking, it's one of those things. And don't get me wrong, an episode of South Park every once in a while, cool. But when you're watching things like The Office or Abbott Elementary or Arrested Development, there is an overarching thing like what's going to happen with this family? What's going to happen with this school? Why is Dwight the way that he is? It's all those types of questions. And those are the things that you can really, really bring to the forefront. Okay. So yeah, anything to add before you wrap this stuff up?
uh, yeah, if your game if you're the GM and the player characters don't want to go a specific way you want them to, or you have to keep reminding them of the overarching story, that's not really a big issue. It's just they're playing the game. Don't get upset because they're playing the game. That's what you're there for, is to help run and help them play a game. So if they want to go ahead and do some side quests, cool. If they want to go and go off the deep end and go in the complete other direction, cool too. It's all about fun and experience at the end of the day.
All right, that's real. That's a really good thing. And as a Ken, as a solo gamer, um, don't get too complicated on things. You know, when I think about my storyline, all I need to know is why are they there? What happens if they succeed? What happens if they fail? And once I have the answer to those questions, the next parts just write themselves. So, overarching story arc leads to why they're there. What happens if they succeed at this piece? And what happens if they fail at this piece? And then we go over and over and over again. And, you know, of course, don't punish for unexpected action. Just go along with it, see what happens. As a solo gamer dealing with miniatures and playing board games and stuff, um, the guys that play on tabletops say something that I wish I thought up, which is dice tell stories. you know,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good one.
it really is. It is so good. Um, because yeah, it's like all I got to do is this roll. Oh crap. oh crap, I succeed on anything but a one. All right, the thief picks the lock and breaks his tools and sets off the alarm, and now the guards are coming. you know and
things got quick. Things got real quick.
well, quite honestly, those moments, and this is a big thing too, and this is the thing that keeps me from cheating at games. Failure creates moments that can lead to legends. Okay. If I ever learned anything from Star Wars, it was that. Okay. Because we all know the scene where Han rushes the stormtroopers only to find 7 or 8 more stormtroopers. It's like, yeah, I'm having my moment of space pirate end. Okay, that didn't work. And I find that some of the most fun scenarios come from the question, okay, well, what now? And that's a really good. Um, so yeah, that is definitely where I sit. So, have a plan for if they succeed, if they fail, understand your overarching story, and remember but and therefore, you know. And
I really could have used all these tips like 5, 6 years ago when I started being a GM.
mhm.
Where were you, Solar? Where were you when I needed you?
I was right here doing these shows on YouTube, on Twitch. I was always here. But you were out in your world, you played games, you had friends, and you didn't need a friend like me. Now you come here. You're getting my advice, you're getting my counsel, and one day, and that day may never come, I may come to you for a favor. Till that day. Till that day. Take this as a gift to make the gaming world a little bit better. Just a little better. You know? Yeah. No, I'm not putting an orange slice in my mouth. Okay, that means someone's gonna die.
What?
Oh. Yeah, it's a big thing in the Godfather community, but if you watch that movie, every time there's oranges on screen, something is about to go bad. Every time. It never fails. You know, hey, he buys oranges and then boom, somebody gets shot. Oh, look, he's playing with his grandson and he puts oranges in his mouth. Heart attack. You know, just every time there's oranges, like something bad's going to happen. So, yeah. So it's a thing. No, Cyber Drake, don't do it. Don't do orange slices. You know, as soon as I realized that about The Godfather, I was very happy that all my nieces and nephews are like grown now because I don't want to go to soccer games or low league games. Like, hey, everybody, you want some orange slices? No, no, no orange slices. You know. These little kids just won a freaking baseball game at the local park. You bring out orange slices, they're going to be a drive-by. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so do some, put an orange slice in your mouth. You know what? That's a cool thing. And yeah, I mean, you guys can look on YouTube after you're done watching this video about oranges and The Godfather, and there'll be dissertations on it. But I saw a couple of them and then I rewatched The Godfather and I'll be like, huh, yeah, oranges. Yeah, no. You know, which is sad because I really like oranges. You know?
They are tasty.
Huh?
Oranges, yeah. They are tasty.
Yeah, they can be. They really can be. You know, sometimes they can be all bitter and stuff, but you know, yeah. I tend to buy my oranges from the guy on the freeway exit because, you know, he's just trying to make a living. So, you know, although I grow lemons, which is, but
you grill lemons?
Yes. But this ain't Blade Runner, man. We have organic stuff. I mean, really. Yes, they are delightfully stable. They really are. So, with all that, thank you for showing up. Thank you for reaching out, because I was going to do the show solo, and I got the message, hey, you need a co-host for today? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you know. So, yeah. And, oh, shit, I see it. It's coming. It's on its way. What's on its way? I tell you what's on its way. What's really on its way is play-out music. I see you. I know where you coming from. I know what you got going. See, yep, there it is. There it is. So, I hope you guys got as much, or got half as much out of this video as I put into it, and that's really fun. Oh, that's stabbable. I thought you were saying stable, but you misprinted. Like, stabable. I'm like, what? Yeah, you okay, man? You good? Like, you good, Neon? Because you're kind of on a tear today, you know, just producing violence on wonderful fruits that sustain 2 states, you know, and that 2 states, I mean, really, you know, and oranges are wonderful. They really are, unless you're Marlon Brando, in which case death. But yeah. Yeah, but with that, Heather, where can the people find you?
All right, yeah, so if you love seeing me on Solar's show, I'm also on a show called Gaming Fix. That's GAMINGFIXXLIVE, and that show is on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you just want to see me stream, I do late night streams around 11, and you can find that at
whoa, we don't talk about after hour streams over here. Mellow Cello After Dark. I mean, that's it. If you're gonna do that, put the kids to bed. That's all I'm saying. Come on, I'm kidding. It's a punchline. You're like, yeah, I do late night streams. You know, late night streams with disco music playing. Yeah, tune in after
Okay,
11.
I got really scared there for a minute. I'm like, I'm not doing anything uncensored or censored or anything. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, I mean,
So
come on,
yeah,
man. This is a family-friendly show, man. Family-friendly.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna be streaming tonight, and what I'm gonna be streaming is Duolingo. I like doing the language learning thing there, and it's really a lot of fun. But of course, if you want to find me outside of streaming, you can hit up my Facebook at Mellowcello 007's Hangout, as well as you can hit me up on Instagram at Mellowcello 007, or you can hit me up on Twitter even at I forgot what my Twitter is. Oh my god, it's like Heather something or another. But yeah, those are the places you can find me, as well as email at mellowcello007 at gmail.com.
Awesome. And, I want to give a major thanks to all you guys in the chat today. Thank you for showing up. Make sure to join the Patreon. And, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee and all that stuff, that is good. Oh, we got a question like, what language are we learning? What language you learn on Duolingo tonight?
I might do a few different ones besides, I will be learning Spanish because that's the one I started with. I'm probably going to learn Swahili and maybe a little Portuguese.
Ooh, little Portuguese, huh? Yeah. Somebody's trying to go to Brazil.
Well, I'd like to the next time my brother decides to go gallivanting over off into South America and visit some South American countries.
Oh, okay. I got you. So, yeah, it's not like you're gonna be, it's not like you're gonna be, getting a second job with our friend Chapo or anything like that, right? That's kind of a thing.
Who?
Never mind. So yeah, but as I was saying, guys, thank you. If you guys want to buy a cup of coffee or help support the channel, the donation buttons and the merch button is right here in the chat. Feel free to hit that up. We got t-shirts and notebooks and all that other stuff. I am trying to figure out how to do BidP dice, but I need 2,000 to 10,000 followers on YouTube before anybody will answer the phone. So head on over to YouTube and push the subscribe button over there. That would be really, really awesome, and share all this stuff. And if you got any other questions or comments, you can hit me up at backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter at backinthedeck. That's also BACKINTHEDECK. Instagram at backinthedeck at BACKINTHEDECK. TikTok over at BidP. That's at BIDPY. And of course, if you were part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, you can hit me up over there and join the group Deckers on the Book. But I want to thank you guys for showing up today. Please join us next time. And remember, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, neurodivergency, disability, or your budget, you can look at them and you can tell them to take that card, put it back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the room.